All right, we are live, and I want to welcome everybody. Colleague Glover, also known as Khaliq-O-Vision, and I want to welcome you guys to our hangout that we do, talking about all things based on music and being successful with it in your career, on your instrument. If you're an engineer, recording, mixing, whatever, it's all good for everybody to hang out with us because we got a lot of broad experience, and this is the type of hangout I wanted to make it that was very inclusive with everybody, not be a monologue just from my point of view, but to include all of you guys in all different walks of life and all different levels of experience and everything. Uh, Not just about like the thing that I love to do is mixing, but I know a lot about recording. I stay up on a lot of different technologies out there. Plus, the stage I'm in now is learning about how to extend a career with all the new opportunities, ways of monetizing. So we kind of cover a lot of stuff here. Uh, it definitely behooves you to hang out with a lot of us as often as you can, because I think it'll help you expand a lot of different ways of achieving success in your musical career and journey. And we all want it to last longer and stick around for as many years or decades as you possibly can at the highest level that you can with the highest quality. So with that, I'm going to get started. This week I wanted to talk about, in particular, we're heading into, in the United States, it's a Memorial Day weekend, and we're heading into the holiday, and I wanted to acknowledge our, servicemen and just a lot of people as far as having the more, those that have passed, but those that are also still here as being, the heroes that allow us to have our lifestyles, protect us, and I think it's very important. So, we have that particular day celebrating, but I want to, like I said, go beyond it too, because I look at people, while I have the utmost respect for soldiers and, people like that that are out there fighting on a battlefield. We got battlefields here too, so there's a lot of people that are fighting for us and with us and everything. There's a big mixture. My brother-in-law, he's a ex-firefighter, so he was one of my biggest heroes because, this guy goes into, what he did when he was in the peak. I mean, going into burning flames, pulling people out, doing all these things. That's so heroic. It takes so much courage to want to save others at the expense of your own life and everything. And people like that are heroes, so I think this day should be celebrated for people like that. And even though police are having a hard time, and we've got a mixture just like anything else in life of good and bad, ultimately, it's good to know when you have people that, when their mindset is right and they are there to truly protect and serve, then when you got the people that are really living up to that, that's another good thing to do, because not every, there's a lot of people that run away and don't want to help and protect you or do anything. So those that have the right attitude and are not trying to persecute, I applaud those people. And like I said, in life we've got a mixture of folks. So I don't like to paint everybody with a broad brush. So I'm not one of them people to think all police are bad or all police are good and right either. It's a mixture. Deal with each person on its own thing. This is what's up for me today and this weekend to do that. Then I want to talk about a couple other things, some little news things that are out here happening, and get your opinions on some of the things that are going on in our industry as far as growth. I want to acknowledge last week I got a chance to be on at the IMSTA Festa, which was held at the SAE Institute, which is, a huge audio school that's international. And I was on I got a chance to be on the stage with DJ Khalil, and that's, I want to acknowledge him and shout out to him. The first time I had got a chance to meet him, very cool brother, and very knowledgeable, hugely successful, and he was dropping a lot of knowledge on the students there. And then we all got a chance to listen to some submissions from a lot of very talented musicians and choose what we thought was good. So it's really a cool thing to just see other people in action as well. Also, what else? Oh, one last thing, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pick it up with everybody else and get in there because I want to hear from everybody and see what's going on. But I want to kind of fill you guys on what's been going on with me too. You know, I have been having a few different things going on in my life. So I believe in the power of collective prayer. So I want to reach out to all you guys and just ask for your collective prayers because I believe there is power and energy out there in the universe. You know, my daughter and my family are facing some major things. I'm not going to put her business fully out there or anything like that, but some major health challenges that we need prayer and support on. This is a very difficult time, but families pull together and they give each other strength and we get through things. But like I said, I believe in the power of collective prayer. The power of prayer by itself, with one person, I'm gonna have my prayers all the time, and we have our prayers within the family. But when you got a world full of people potentially praying for you, that's some powerful stuff, man. So I just want to implore everybody that if you are so inclined and willing to do so, just send out a prayer for my daughter and our family to get through some of these difficult health challenges that are happening, and anything else is coming on. And feel free to call on me as well because I do that and I believe in that. So anyway, what's up, everybody? I appreciate everybody coming on here today. Jump on, say what's happening.
What's up, everybody? Good to see you.
What's up? Who is that, Bill?
Hey.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey.
And we have a new chatter today, Khaliq.
Say that again.
We have a new chatter today, Khaliq.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I got to see. Speak to us. Introduce yourself.
Hey, how you guys doing?
All right.
What's your name? This is Mega.
Yes, I'm Mega.
All right. Hey, can you guys see her? I'm not seeing her. I'm seeing her in the bottom, but I'm not seeing her up the top.
I see her.
Okay, you guys got her. Okay, it's probably just.
You don't have the blue box on yourself, right, Khaliq?
No, I don't. I have it on her.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you from, Mega?
Well, I'm originally from Albany, New York, so upstate New York. But now I live in Brooklyn. So yeah, in the city, and that's how I feel.
Oh, cool.
Out and about.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? And fill us in.
Yeah. Well, so I do music, and that's how I met Bill. Actually, at a studio. Just checking out like what they had to offer there, but I sing, I rap. I'm kind of like an all-around entertainer. I've kind of gotten into some improv comedy, acting. I really just love people and interacting with people and sharing stories and entertaining in any way possible. So that's kind of what I've been up to.
Oh, girl, you done messed up now, though. You're on here. Here's how we do it. You're a singer. We want to hear you sing. We're putting you on the spot. Sing something for us.
No problem.
I love it. I love that attitude.
So I'm a big fan of like the Motown era. So one of my favorite songs that I like to cover is called "You're My Remedy" by the Marvelettes. I don't know, it's one of my favorite love songs, and I've been able to perform it a couple times. But so it goes, don't you give me no headache powder, it don't do no good for me. There's nothing I can take when my head starts to ache, 'cause you're my remedy, oh baby, you're my remedy. Oh, how you soothe me when the going gets tough and I'm stood enough. Oh, pretty baby, you're my remedy. Just a little something like that.
Hey, yeah, all right, go ahead. Very good.
Thank you.
You know what I really love more than anything? I love your attitude too, because see, a lot of people, we purposely do this because real singers are ready to sing. Somebody says sing, you're ready to go. You didn't even hesitate. You didn't even blink. You was ready to go. See, that's a successful attitude. I love that.
Now, where'd you hear that song?
Sorry?
Where'd you first hear that song?
Okay, so when I first started making music, one of the producers I worked with, his name is Kevin McMahon. He has like a record collection that is incredible, and he really put me on to the Motown, onto a lot of good reggae music. He branched out my music knowledge so much, so I owe him a lot about finding those kind of genres.
That's good. Yeah, that's generationally, most people would not even know that song exists. Plus the fact he probably saw something in you that connected you to that song and that style. Yeah.
Yeah,
You surprised
absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
those are the classics.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Well, it shows you've been doing homework too, which is another key to success. There's, everybody wants to think that, if I walk in and if I'm a great singer, I've automatically got a key to success, but that's not the key. The key is because there's thousands and thousands of great singers. So the little things like you're doing here, doing research and homework, knowing your history, having a foundation based on what you're doing, being a broad learner as well too. I heard you mention. I mean, you're learning a lot of different things to get a big, broad foundation, so that if you need to move left or move right or whatever, you're going to be ready to go. So you got all the right elements. I like seeing that.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to build my skills in like whatever way I really can.
No, very, very good, very good. Well, welcome hanging out with us, and hey, Bill, good job inviting you. Yeah.
Hey.
All right. And who else? We got somebody. We got Sean on here. Sean, what's going on, man? Are you there? I'll mute your microphone. And Sean, or I guess it's Sean or Cine 06, whatever. Sean Y06, whatever it is. If you're there with us, unmute your mic and talk. If not, we're going to move on to somebody else and see what's up. Okay, we're going to move over to Jason, because, my man, I haven't seen you in a while. What happened? The earth swallowed you up, bro?
No, the earth didn't swallow. I had, I got a busy spell for a little bit and just had to take a mental break from a lot of stuff. And just kind of getting back into the swing of things and getting back out there and seeing what's new with everybody.
Oh, cool.
I've been around.
Oh, did we lose him?
You still got me?
I got you now.
You just came back. You're a little pixelated, but got it.
Oh, it's MacBook. But yeah, just kind of coming back and get back in the swing of things, seeing what's up.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I'm glad you are back with us. I was worried about you. I was like, what happened, my man? Just vanished for a bit, but I understand you got to do it. I had to do it for a minute, too. I'm hearing somebody having feedback. I have to turn down the speaker a little bit. And I had to do it for a little bit. I'll probably be doing it, going through this little thing that I'm going through. I'll be off and on, That's kind of what's been going on while you guys have been seeing me. It's been a combination of a busy spell with business and with family, So I'll be popping in and out as often as I can, but other times, if the schedule doesn't allow, there's no opening, I won't be there. But I assure you, I'll be there as much as possible.
Yeah, I was in LA a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to get up with you, but
yeah, I got your message, but I got caught up and couldn't get back with you. But yeah, how the trip go?
Trip was productive. I
Oh,
yeah.
did we lose
relaxed.
Okay, he'll be back in. We froze on now. He just chilling, relaxed. Okay, you're back now, Jay.
Man, I may have to switch connections. But yeah, it was a good trip. 4 days in and out and back to work here.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, cool. And say what's up. We got Joseph on there real quick, and Dave, but Joseph, why don't you talk to us a little bit?
How you doing, guy? Nice to see y'all. It's
Great
been a
seeing
couple
you,
days,
Yeah.
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good. I've been a lot busier than I thought I would be for this time of year.
Oh, really?
Usually
Okay.
all the local talents in rehearsal space, getting ready for the, we got a lot of shows in Detroit. A lot of different. There's a jazz park not too far from both directions of me actually, and they have a amphitheater type setup and some of the parks, and there's everybody has an opportunity to play live, and that's really cool. So most of the folks are in the studio trying to get something down on tape.
Uh,
And
yeah.
I've been pretty blessed the last few weeks with a couple really good projects.
Oh,
It's been
good,
nice.
good.
Yeah.
How's your situation with getting back? Your gear, your setup, everything, all that how is that on track?
Yeah, pretty much. I have a contaminated building that's going to stay that way, and I had a lien put on the building by the sewage mitigation company, who took all the stuff away. So
Wow.
they're trying to hold my property over my head to in order to give me anything back, which
Oh, wow.
I'm told can't really be cleaned in a way that's guaranteed. They
Mhm.
use an ozone generating machine to fire ozone at electronics to try to make contaminated waste germs die,
Mhm.
and they will not give me a guarantee that there isn't some type of latent exposure disease of any kind that could take place.
Mhm.
Um, so it's not going too well in that area. All my
Wow.
instruments, the drum sets and guitars and everything, all that stuff was insured differently
Mhm.
than the structure and all the crap that was bolted down. But so I haven't had any issues with that. The insurance
Mhm.
company's been very forthcoming, and just my receipts were on file, everything was set up, no issues at all.
Yeah.
But as far as the damage to the building itself and all the stuff that had to be removed by the sewage mitigation company, that's it's a 100% loss with
Wow.
nothing in sight as far as the insurance getting any reimbursement or recovery.
Oh man, that's
And yeah, and the
that-
city's been okay. They've been relatively decent, but my biggest problem's coming from the sewage mitigation company. They
mhm.
won't. Now, this will just take me a second. They don't want to commit to. In other words, they don't want to submit an invoice and say this is going to be $78,000 to clean this man's place and get it back to normal. They want to give. They have submitted an estimate, and the city won't act on an estimate. They need a hard price.
Oh yeah.
And they're claiming that it's insurance fraud to commit to a hard price. And it's some of these arguments have been so ridiculous. I don't want to go too further into it.
That's
I'll start
crazy.
getting beat red in the face and yelling. The volume of my voice goes up incrementally.
Right, right.
Yeah. So digital assets are something, man. You never really think how important that is until it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of
True.
the hard drives were backed up. Every picture that I had of my family since birth was given to me. I was put in charge of that, and it was being digitized in one of the spare rooms.
Mhm.
With
Right.
an older PC, and every one of those photo albums went in the dumpster.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that hurts me more than the 1176s and the API pre's. That it hurts me a lot more.
Yeah, you
Because
can't get that stuff back.
I can't. No, I can't.
Yeah.
And Super 8 films. With my grandpa. My dad fishing. Crap like that.
Wow.
It's just those are the things that have hurt me a little more than I thought they would.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
I think about it when I'm laying awake at night, sometimes rebuilding my life.
Mhm.
But David mentioned that he kind of thought that I may not want to rebuild actually. Like it may not be in my heart
Yeah, right.
to climb that mountain again, as he put it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Dave, I really, thought about that hard the last 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
you're 100% right. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Well,
do it.
sometimes it's a sign it's for something new. I mean, the memories are hard, man. Memories are, that's the real stuff.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
part of it is you got to reconcile yourself with the reality that through this, act of nature,
Mm-hmm.
it just got wiped. You can say, okay, well, cool. At least it wasn't a tornado that took the roof off and took our lives, and but the reality is that nobody schedules an accident,
No.
right? So you got to figure out, okay, what does this mean for me and for us? And if your family entrusted that stuff to you, there's a bigger story to it. So you got to really get it together, because obviously you're a responsible individual that your family looks to take care of something like that. So get in line with the bigger picture. You ain't gonna have all the answers, because if I could say, yeah, Joseph, go to the corner and click your heels 3 times and it'll all be cool and the answer will come to you, I would. But the reality is there's a bigger message in it, bigger than music, bigger than your gear, bigger even than the fight that you find yourself in with the insurance and the city, because then you kind of see. I understand your frustration, because you're playing by the rules. You pay for insurance, you pay the city, and at the end of the day, you expect when things happen to you for everybody to follow procedure and you to be the benefactor of the great system that we're all sold on as youth.
Yes.
Right? Only to have it go the way it goes, and you're like, well, what the hell, man? I'm following the rules, damn it. I'm reading the Monopoly board and it says 1, 2, 3, and I did all of them, and I'm still not getting it. And that's part of our reality as adults.
Well, there's something. Yeah, I tell you, there's something that I'd pass on to every one of you guys and anyone who's listening, that the number one job of the insurance company is not to insure you.
Mm-hmm.
It's to make money. That's what they're in business for. Their ultimate goal isn't to insure you; it is to make money. And unless you really go over, it would extremely behoove everyone to go over their policies with fine-tooth comb. Renters insurance, homeowners insurance, all that good stuff. Because there's so much. There, simple clauses can wipe you out.
Mm-hmm.
That sewer was 5 feet from my property line. If it would have collapsed within the boundaries of my property, I wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd be saying, oh, yeah, we're rebuilding, I'm getting new this and new that, But instead, now I'm telling you about, all my shit's in the dumpster.
But you know what, your memories would still be probably gone, right? The pictures and things like that, they would still be gone. So the stuff, you can get back to stuff, But one of the things too on the stuff, by the way, when you said that ion thing and all that, I know there's sometimes when I have seen people rent what's called an ultrasonic dip tank, and it's something we used to use in manufacturing. And what it is, it's a board. You put your circuit boards, you put your cards in them, put your APIs in, and what it does is it shakes the debris and the microscopic particles loose from the electronics in a bath of a chemical. It's like a chemical. Just think of a chemical jacuzzi for electronics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a tub, sits there, turns on, and so I have seen people do that to clean gear in other cases where it fell or it was rained on or something else happened. So. Understanding that it is sewage and stuff like that, that's kind of extreme, and I don't know if they're really looking at all the ways you can clean things like that. But there are ways you can clean things like that. As far as guarantees, again, that's to the letter of the law, and I think that's more of them doing the word game thing. But there are ways to clean analog electronics.
My concern is I part of my service work is inviting folks in for free that are disabled, who are fighting cancer, who have other physical maladies that I couldn't, in good faith, expose them to the possibility of something happening with an immune system that's been compromised through radiation or chemotherapy, and it'd be my fault. I mean, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. I mean, it almost makes me want to, tear up, because just the thought of me killing somebody, an accident, it just doesn't work out for me, So, so answer your question. That was a long answer. I could have just said it's not going that great.
That's okay, man.
There's lessons to be learned through all of it, and for the most part, I'm becoming a better person.
Well, that's mainly why I wanted to find out too, because that's helpful to the other people that might go through what you're going through in a different way. I had no idea that it was such a big difference, like you said, in having two different insurances depending on how. I mean, just the information that you gave is super helpful, because you think you're covered. It's like, I got insurance, but that ain't enough. You need to know what's going on. So that's why I wanted you to have that discussion. It's very helpful, man. Well, cool.
You want to sit down with your insurance man and have him spell it out. And you come up with this scenario and say, what if this happens? What if a tree falls on my building? What if there is an active God? And you go through those what ifs, and you make sure they spell it out to you. And that's about the best you can do. And, shame on me for not having that conversation. What if the city sewer collapsed?
And Khaliq, your guy Roger's in Detroit, right?
Say that again?
I said your guy Roger that chats with us, he's in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Freeman's out there, so I'm trying to see if we get them at least by email, all talking to each other, see if we can come to some solutions for this situation. Not for his insurance situation, because that's what it is, but I mean, maybe since they're all local to each other, there's something that, all of their studios can do to embed, to help each other.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Roger, in fact, said he was going to attempt to get on here. He had sent me a message saying he's going, so he may pop on here actually today. And okay, so let's get back to some music stuff too. And Mega, I know I want to go back to you, and also I see we got Jason on here. So Jason, we'll hear from you in a little bit. But Mega, since you're new to our little group here and hanging out with us, tell us some things that you've been trying to use, or things you've discovered to start propelling your career to where you want it to go. Because first of all, why don't you just kind of let us in on where are you trying to go? You've got all these talents and everything. Where's your focus, and where are you trying to go, and what kind of tools have you been finding that's been working for you now to take you there?
Well, where do I want to go? My thing is I truly love all of the different things that I'm pursuing, and I don't want to give one up for the other, but I do recognize I need to focus in one area to build in that and build my name further in that. As far as with my music, right now I'm really just working on trying to get it distributed. So I've been researching how to get my music on Spotify and those type of streaming services, and reaching out to different people I know that work for distribution companies. And just trying to get my music on a bigger platform, because right now I just have all my stuff on SoundCloud, and it's been good, but I feel like, I haven't really found, I don't have a large fan base or anything like that. So I'm really just working on getting, my most recent song, it's called How Do You Know? I'm really working to get that kind of pushed as my single. I have a lot of music on my SoundCloud, but that song I feel like embodies me the best, so I'm kind of looking to push that first.
Oh, okay, cool. What are you doing to kind of viralize your music so that you can build your fan base?
Well, I mean, I'm active on social media, but I definitely feel like I could use help within the PR field. Right now, it's just really me. I don't have a manager or any team really, so I've been kind of looking to solidify the connections I've made and get myself, you know, at least attached to a bigger company that has like the ability to get my music through the doors in different streaming services. But besides that, I really have just been trying to kind of stay really busy and be out at events and network, and whether it's doing acting and you know, being on a movie set and then, you know, passing along my music through that, or doing the comedy improv, like just kind of getting my hands in all fields to then wrap it around to bring it back to, oh, nice to meet you, check out my song.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, with the I'm glad you mentioned Spotify and things like that, because that's another discussion I wanted to have today. Um, because I wanted to talk and have a little discussion and debate about Spotify versus Tidal and some of the other things that are out there right now. Um, and Jason mentioned that, do you have your stuff on TuneCore?
It really.
Do I have my?
Jason.
Yeah. I've used them before in the past. I haven't used them in like the last year or so with any of my new releases. I have a distribution deal with another company right now that I'm doing for all my releases currently. But before that, I was using TuneCore for everything, and they were awesome. I absolutely loved them. They were pretty great.
Oh, okay. Have you tried them, Mega?
Turn my mic back on.
Oh, there you go.
No, I haven't. I haven't had my music put into like any type of distribution, anything other than SoundCloud. So as I was researching about how to get my music on Spotify, and I read about, I think that I brought up TuneCore and a few others like that, I started doing my research as to what each company offers, their pricing, and stuff like that. So TuneCore, definitely will check that out too.
Yep. When Bill placed your link over in the chat on the side, so guys, if anybody wants to check out what she's doing, it's right there on the side. Her SoundCloud link and official Mega Music. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Yep.
Thanks.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, continue.
No, I was just gonna say, Mega. So Mega, well, my name is Megan Gibbs, and I kind of created this whole like company. Mega stands for Making Everything Good Again, and it derives from, before I started doing music or acting or any of this entertainment stuff, I actually went to school for social work. So I've been working as a social worker down here in New York City for like 3 years now, as a counselor, and I'm realizing like how much influence the entertainment industry has on kids, and not to say, oh, you have to be clean cut or you have to be perfect or you have to be you know, children friendly, but just to bring back the realness to music and entertainment, and just giving kids kind of someone to look up to, like a role model, but not in the role model that you have to be perfect or that you have to be clean cut, just something real, you know, give people something, you know, making it good again. So that's kind of where that came from.
Okay. Very cool. How, Bill, are you doing anything with Mega, or are you guys just kind of just meeting and hooking up, or?
No, we're not just meeting. I've known her about a year by now, but yeah, we're talking back and forth on projects. But as she's saying, she's got a lot of different things going on. So we had talked about her last project, but she did the project with another group that she was already affiliated with. So it's kind of like a pending process. You know what I'm saying? It could go on at any minute, but we haven't done
going down.
Right, we haven't done anything yet, but you know how fast I work. We could have something tomorrow, so you know.
That's good.
Oh, good, cool, very cool. Yep. Well, good. And Vladi, we got you on here, man. What's happening with you?
Hey guys, good to see you. A lot of familiar faces. I am. A lot of things are going on. It's in short. it's I've been learning to work with people, so I'll probably ask you a couple of questions about that.
You always say that like you just stepped out of a spaceship, man.
He's in a spaceship. He never steps out of that spaceship.
He said, "I'm just learning to work with people." What have you been doing?
Take me to your leader.
Well, you know this.
Just talk to Megan. She's a social worker. She's been working with people all the time.
Yeah, we do some social work up in here right about now.
Hey.
I do this the very simple way. Just do what I say. It's just do what I say.
That's it.
Cool.
It's because a lot of things people regard as common sense, but as much as common sense they are, people don't actually know them. That's
not so common.
They know of them, but they don't know them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Don't practice them.
Yeah. I think it's hard sometimes, though. Just the common sense thing. It's really challenging for a lot of people, and we got to remember that sometimes. And for me, I battle with it all the time. I battle with it all the time because I really, over the years, have developed low patience, But, one thing that Mega just said is that, entertainment has really changed. And when you start in something that you love and it's very organic, and then you get to work inside of it and outside of it and through all different aspects, and you see sometimes the grimy intent of it, right? It's very hard to then take that and then say, well, I want to have a change, I want to affect change in this. How do I affect change? You would almost have to be a social worker or somebody who studies the social condition and the pathology of human behavior in order to understand how to really affect change. It teaches you a lot on how to read people, right? But when you're dealing with entertainment, you're dealing with mass programming of groups of people. You're programmed to be happy, programmed to be sad, programmed to be, all of the gamut that we go through, and some of this goes back to Khaliq's early messages of just the hypnotic nature of what we do, of music. And I think part of it is that it's possible to be in it and not of it. If you understand what I'm saying. It's possible to be in it and not of it. It's possible to be effective, to do the things we have to do, to work with people. Like, the challenge that Vladi says, I'm working with people now. It's sometimes I take a break from people. And Khaliq knows. I will say, hey man, I haven't gone out in 3 or 4 weeks to mix it up with anybody because I'm trying to get things done. And then when it comes time and I have to be social, I have to go through a whole thing to release that energy, not because I'm going to get anything back, just because I'm used to achievement inside of this bubble. Go back to what we learned from Bill. the bubble lifestyle. Go back to this way that we can achieve things at an accelerated rate without confusion. And then when we go mix it up with the rest of humanity is when we take the risk at falling under somebody else's timeline or with their special circumstances or their special story or, it really takes a lot. Because remember, this is a creative endeavor. So, you don't want to bastardize your creative effort with everything you do being planned and being a chess move, because then you take the analog out of it. You take the whole, your individual personality and pathos out of it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that it's funny as I sit here and look at everybody and their pictures across the screen, I can see everything that we learned from each individual, over the years, and even just in this phone call when we're hearing Mega Talk, just all the little details, When I think about Jason in Atlanta, I think about the teaching aspects and the stuff we talk about. I think about Joseph. I think about robotics, and the analogies he's made. I also think about the condition he's talking about. Even some of the guys that aren't on the call, and all of it is useful. All of it's something I use actually, because the whole thing is the people that you've met and the people The people who are going to give you a break and the things you're going to do that you haven't done yet, you haven't met some of those people. And so you have to keep churning it up, and we all have to keep getting outside of this little screen life and mixing it up, because that's the real part that makes things memorable. It's cool that we can get together and talk and be real from miles away on the computer, but it's even greater when you can go somewhere. I know I've been places with Khaliq, and people have walked up on us, and they'll say, "Hey, Khaliq, yeah, I saw you on the screen the other day," you know. And he'll go, "Oh yeah, okay." And I'm like, "Wow, man, does that happen a lot?" He goes, "Yeah," but it's a good thing, you know. I think it's equal parts of both. But you know, Vladdy, I tease you, but I understand where you're at. I understand. I've watched you grow, even in your presentations and the stuff you're doing, and I can see you're affecting change. You know, you're affecting change where you're at in your part of the world. You know, and that's a cool thing. And the same thing with Mega. Like I said, I understand your message perfectly, because I cross that bridge all the time, and I'm a couple years into it, a little bit more than you. But man, I want to affect change every day, and I understand the influence that this industry has, especially on youth, because their minds are green, they're still growing. But it's possible to be in it and not of it. But it's part of it is talking about it, just like what we're doing right here, talking about the things that are real, because that's going to chase the boogeyman from under the bed. You know, if you turn the light on and say, "Hey, boogeyman, you can't be under the bed," then the boogeyman ain't gonna be under the bed no more, right? So, but most people aren't gonna talk about the boogeyman because they're too afraid to let people know they're scared of the boogeyman. You know, so. But that's my little 2 cents. Sorry.
Man, Dave, you hit it
I
right.
wanted to add to Dave's bubble theory, which he's been hitting me with for like a year and a half by now. But you know, you're absolutely right. And to speak also to you know, Vladdy's comment about, you know, getting used to people. One of the things about it is that even in what we're doing, like right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right now we have 9 people in. We're chatting directly with 9 people. All of us can say whatever we want, yada yada yada. But it's still a controlled environment.
Right.
If you go outside, well, 8, somebody just dropped out. But anyway, so now when you go outside, all of a sudden, all this random stuff happens. See? Yeah. So it's a good idea, even if you're bunkered down and you're working on a project and whatever, just go to the mall. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not going to go see a movie, go to the movie theater, stand around, because it's so odd when you're thinking about whatever you want to think about and somebody just interrupts you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can interrupt me at all where I'm sitting right now. At all. You know, if I don't want to talk to y'all, I don't have to talk to y'all. Nobody, right? But if you're in the street, you know, somebody's like, "Oh, excuse me, you know how to get to 42nd," or, you know, whatever the case may be. And it's weird because you do have to rev back up into that. Yeah. If you get out of that system enough, you know, especially like for me, I work for myself. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. So, you know, if I get on the subway, I'm surrounded by people. I'm like, "Hey, what's this person's elbow doing on me? What's this?" You know, it's real strange. So it's one of those things that, yeah, you do have to rev back up into it, and it's a good idea not to get, even though being in the bubble is very efficient, it's a good idea to not get too entrenched in it and to, you know, just get back out there and rub or smash elbows with people every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, the nature of our business is a bubble too, because as engineers, producers, musicians, or whatever, our bubble is, you know, the studio most of the time. And I know at a time when even I was seeing a lot of people, you know, right now I'm in my little home business bubble. I have my own home business right now. So I'm a little more insulated. So I got out last week, got a chance to hang out with the people at SAE and some of the other folks and all that. But like you said, Bill, you have to go out there because, you know, nobody can affect me in here, but then when I go out there, I suddenly have to move in real time, move left, move right, according to where the energy is going, and the energy shifted from step by step. If I went just down the hall there at SAE, there was a different energy from the students there as opposed to when I was out in the foyer. You know, things like that. It's a good practice to do. So, you know, getting out, You know, when you're in the studio, it's the same theory. You know, you're in the studio, but we make music is made for global consumption of people. You know, that's what we do it for. We're not doing it just for ourselves. So even though we love what we do, music is about doing it for people. You got to get out amongst people and see what's up. This is the danger that a lot of people make when they start believing their own hype. Start thinking that their own music or what they like is the only thing that's out there, and there's so much more out there. And the more successful you will be is when you recognize and make yourself do that, because it's a, you know, it's easy to get in love with your own stuff or what you're used to in your comfort zone. It's not easy to stay open and get new stimuli coming out, make new connections with your synapses and stuff like that, just from things that you're just not familiar with. I love that type of thing, and this is like when I told you guys years ago the story of me doing the album with a Japanese artist that had an album that was based on water, you know, and it was like my mind was like, no, well, wait a minute, you know, I got beaten on water, come on, you know, but it was actually kind of stimulating to me and made me think a whole different way, because I never wouldn't have normally did that, but he made me get out of my bubble and say, okay, listen to where my bubble is, and if you are open, you could discover some great new things sometimes, you know. I wanted to extend this discussion too to something that I've just been following on the fringes, and I want to see if anybody has an opinion and if anybody even has any experience. I'm looking at Tidal versus Spotify and watching how this whole thing is coming together, playing out. Some of the you know, the controversies, the comments, the rumors and everything, scandals and all that coming out. Some people are complaining and saying, you know, cost too much, or it isn't this, that, and the other. Then there's other people that's saying, hey, Tidal's payout has doubled Spotify's. You know, right now, things like the music quality and promotion is much better and everything like that. So I just want other people to kind of chime in that if anybody's been following this whole thing.
I'm going to chime in.
It's already, here we go.
I'm going to chime in because I've been posting a bunch of stuff, but I'm just going to tell it from this side. Okay, from a streaming side, Tidal's been around long before Jay-Z bought it.
Right.
And understand that as a streaming company, they're probably one of the best in doing high-resolution file transmission to their customers, and they've been doing that before Jay-Z was on the scene. So when this issue was being batted around several years ago, and you guys can follow these chats, I've been talking about high-resolution files and this transition that the industry is making right now for a little while with Khaliq on this broadcast. So Tidal's been there, and it's been one of the top contenders. The only thing that brought it into view was the infusion of Jay-Z as a fiscal figure there. But before that, everybody had much respect for it in the technology circles and in the what we'll call the circles of decision making in music. Okay? Now, when you go to the other aspects of what's going on and you look at how Tidal is being treated in the press and you look at what's going on, you've got all these companies, and these companies are all basically the same. They do not make the music. They are not a major. They have created a business doorway that allows them to charge for some shit that they don't own. You get it? Get it? It's some pilgrim shit. Just like you land in America and you say, hey, I discovered this shit and Indians are here, right? That's not right. You can't do that. Nobody can discover your bank account, discover your shit in your house, and say it's theirs. It's just not, you can't do it. So understand that's what's going on when you see everybody, oh, we pay more, we pay more, we pay more. They haven't started saying they pay more until Tidal came along, and the reason why Tidal got so much attention is because they sat all these superstars at a table and said, yeah, we's going to go Tidal. Understand what that was that you were looking at. That was independent artists who have power. Most of their catalogs were developed in the last, let's say, 20 years, right? Madonna's probably 25, 30. Those artists and their collective publishing catalog wealth is what is at stake with this whole issue. So they have no choice but to make the best power move they can for their career. It is not about a monopoly more so than it is about individual artists who own their shit getting control of their financial stability for years to come, because this whole issue is changing up music publishing forever. And so you really don't look at the fight, because on the level of new artistry, there is no fight. For everybody here who's a new artist, and I'm just going to say it, you either going to sign with somebody or you're not. You're in no negotiating position to say, oh, I didn't let my lawyer see it. Man, that's not the game that's in play right now. So make up your mind who you're going to go with it, and get to writing and get to doing what you do. But it's different positions are being played right now. They just released some stuff the other day about this thing that Justin Timberlake invested in 2 years ago. You know, after mastering. This is the next thing you're going to see. Here's a process where even though you take your stuff through there, you already master your record now, because he's Justin Timberlake, he got a process called after mastering. So mastering wasn't good enough. You got to go to after mastering now, right?
To interrupt for 1 second, I listened to that website on the ATH. It sounded horrible.
Right, but the bottom line is that it sounded horrible, but they're trying to sell it based on the graces of Justin Timberlake. Now, if you follow the press releases of After Mastering, you're not going to see any of the negative connotation and the spin thrown on it like was thrown on Tidal. Here, and go back to Tidal. Why would those artists sit there and make that move? And I'll tell you why. When all those artists, when you want to get those artists to play, and you say, hey, Jay-Z, would you do a concert for me? Jay-Z's normal response would be, hey, talk to my management. Right? Management, which is attorneys and managers and accountants, determine what's going to happen. Now, when you have all these artists sitting at a table, they can now say, you know what, guys? Let's get together and do a concert over here in this country and tell our management people to go find endorsers and everybody who's going to NASCAR up and make this happen, get our money, and we'll go over there and do a concert. It's no longer asking somebody, should I do it? It's telling them what you want. Independent artists are just now in the mindset they can actually tell the people who work for them and drain money from them what they want. And so they're banding together and using these systems that are in place to make money off of them, to say, okay, you're going to make some money off of, I'm going to make some money off of me too. And so that's part of what happened. When you look at Tidal, you're looking at freedom for some of those artists. So I wouldn't look bad at it, and I see them throw around the words like monopoly, monopoly, monopoly. What do you think is going on with Apple? Apple has proprietary use of technology, and now they want to go in here and dictate. They've already screwed up the game when they made singles 99 cents, and we all said, yeah, I got stuff for sale at the Apple Store. Yeah, but now 99 cents is the bottom. With a 99-cent single price, how are you going to reinvest back into the recording process of music? You're not. That's why we're in the state we're in today, because everybody's got this thing where they're co-opting other people's money. Eventually, somebody has to do work and skilled labor and some kind of something that makes it valuable. If we don't make it valuable, and everybody thinks the music is free, this is free, oh, I need to get my best deal here, where are you going to pay for the quality in that? You have not reinvested any money. Everybody who's standing around this circle jerk, excuse my expression, is always trying to glean and never trying to offer up anything. You can't have that many people pulling from the table. And if you stand everybody around in the circle of what makes music happen, you have to be able to contribute back to the food chain. Artists have to make their money. The process has to make its money. Yes, distribution needs to make its money. There's no profit without promotion. You've got to be able to do all those things. But you got to be able to honor the process and honor the outcome. What's happening now is we have so many people. If we were to actually have a day or a week where everybody who had a legitimate skill in music got to work, and everybody who didn't, if you're a lawyer, you got to sit down. If you're an attorney, you got to sit down. If you're an accountant, you got to sit down. If we had a week or whatever long to operate like that, we would have a lot of new music, no problems. You'd have people working together. You wouldn't have disagreements, because a lot of this stuff is all these other people who are on the side. I'm not saying they're not good, don't get them. I'm saying that through the business of music, we've killed a lot of the organic things about music. we've killed a lot of the opportunity. You can't get two people to sit together and write without one of them picking up a phone. I did this. I did this. Well, I wrote this line. I wrote this. Come on now. Come on now. We all trying to eat together. And if you sat down and you start thinking, you know, but it gets into this little tit for tat thing, and we can never get up out of working at a song level. And everybody, you guys, and I just encourage everybody, got to pick your head up out of the song level sometimes and look at what's ahead, because there's a big road ahead, and the dividing line is coming around, and everybody's in fear. All these artists are in fear of their publishing going in different directions, and this is why, and this is the last thing, and I'll shut up. Most of the major companies have agreed to distribute their music and have their music stored in high-resolution file storage and high-resolution stems. You guys all understand what that means, right? If you don't, here's what's up. If you got a single, and your single is out there and it's doing good, and then the video game comes along and says, I want to use Mega Signal on a video game. Mega says, sure, yeah, my single's available, high-resolution stem. Okay, so now they get your stem files. It's no longer a publishing thing where they have to ask you permission just to use your stuff on a video game. It's now already for sale as a track without your vocal. It's now already for sale as the stems that they mix from, as the elements. The elements of your song are now already for sale in another level. So the whole dedication that all the majors have agreed to with high-resolution files goes beyond just having stereo files. It goes to having stems available. So a stem sale in a high-resolution environment is an automatic, yes, you can use my shit. You understand that? In a publishing sense. Right? Everybody think for 5 seconds. Is it that easy if you own something to say, hey, I should get a little bit more if it's a movie? Shit, if it's an Indiana Jones movie, I should get a whole lot more. You know, this is the old way of thinking when your music was going to be accessed to be used on something. That's no longer the case, because now everybody's agreed to store their shit for it. So you can go to a vending machine. Oh, yeah, I want some of what Khaliq did in 1969. Yeah, it's on stems. Get it here. Okay, yeah, he's going to get a stem check. You know, that's it. That's it. It's turned into a digital transaction.
Hey, man, don't be jacking up my age, man. I ain't be nothing in no 1969.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm just making a couple of brief points. I know I went all over the game, but do you understand what's going on? You know, it's a lot of things at play, and sometimes what happens when we look at these little articles, we get blinded by it. Jay-Z and his powerful friends trying to monopolize the... You know what? Jay-Z and his friends are just all people with catalogs, and each one of those people has about 5 strategic people around them that drain money from them. So they cannot make songs and make music forever. Their publishing dollar pays for their career right now. They're making the best decision they can for their career by banding together with other people and creating a power move. I would much rather have management and people working for me and doing what I say rather than me going, what do you think? Because nobody ever bought a ticket to see a manager. So when you're trying to be out there and be an artist and make that money at that level and survive, you're trying to ensure that you have something later on down the line. Whereas the publishing laws, and we've seen through some of the cases and all the other things that have been occurring lately, the publishing laws are extremely outdated. And because we move files to a digital state is an absolute state. So there's no litigation in absoluteness. You understand? In an analog state, you can litigate that. In a digital state, it's either 1 or 0. So it's going to come back unless these publishing laws change and unless these opportunities change. But they have to do something. And it goes back to Napster. If you want to look at what Napster was and what everybody's in fear of, all these companies look like little versions of Napster.
That's because it's the same person.
Right. And
Napster and Spotify is the same guy.
Yeah, but the bottom line is the attitude. You know, how do you have an attitude like that? You know, where you figure you've got divine right not to make shit, but you want to make something off of everybody's thing, and you want to make music seemingly free. You know, that's the problem when you make things seemingly free. They really aren't free.
And Dave, if I can real quick, I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I totally understand the publishing thing, but I think, like this move that these guys are making, I think it's really just more about, we need to turn back to educating the listener and letting them realize that we don't make any money if they're just stealing our shit off the goddamn internet. I mean, for me, that's this whole point for me, is just educating the listener. It's all got to do on the listener's end. Everybody wants shit for free. I want shit for free. You want shit for free. Khaliq wants shit for free. Bill wants shit for free. We all want something for free. Everybody does. It's just in our nature. If we ain't got to pay for something, we're going to go where we can not have to pay for it. I mean, trying to fight it like they do education is the hard thing. What was that?
People don't want education. You have to be, millennials in particular all the time are not always turned on to educating things, because they come into a lifespan where they can Google up the things they don't know, and they can learn them relatively fast in a nonlinear fashion. See, we all learn through a linear process. Piano 1, 2, 3, all these basic things. Nonlinear access is the educational model that everybody is raised on now. And so I can't even talk to my 7-year-old without her Googling something and back talking, right? Because she got the info. So understand that it's a real way that they have in their mindset of not necessarily needing the structure of education. So when you say, let's educate them, now you have to figure out a way to engage with them, to trick them into wanting to learn something they don't want to sit down and spend the time to learn. That's another whole system. And not saying you can't do it, but more often than not, they're already thinking about their dream and getting to where they want to go. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of myopic dedication, but it's up to us as people who are more experienced, I won't say older, Khaliq, more experienced, to kind of understand.
Why you single me out, man?
Kind of understand the pathology of how they learn or how they adapt, because they're not going to always take to the lesson. That's the lesson. Sometimes people really don't like that structure of, I know, you don't know, sit here and learn. Sometimes people don't like that. I wasn't into that. I had to get a new understanding of what it really meant to be in school to get an appreciation from school. So I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, it would help if they knew some things, but how we get that to them, it's kind of hard, because
I personally think everybody just needs to pull the Taylor Swift move and just pull their shit and just be like, now you gotta buy it. The hell with you.
Yeah.
That's just me though.
Taylor Swift was orchestrated swiftly too. So, before she was Taylor Swift, she was somebody's daughter, and they had a strategy about how they were going to get her to be Taylor Swift. And they unearthed that strategy, which had some definite moves in it that allowed her what she has now. So even on that level, they used a strategy to get her place. You know what I mean? From cutting a deal with the #3 pizza chain and putting all her shit at the counter of every pizza place across the United States, to buying up a bunch of records and sending them somewhere, to do all the things that people do in order to launch somebody in a #1, #2 pole position when they need to. No different than what Clive Davis would do with certain artists and buy up their single. So there's always a strategy at play, and there's always these moves at play, and those moves set up things. So when we perceive somebody as, yeah, okay, Charlie, she can say that now. She got leverage, and she got a catalog now. But at one time, she was somebody who was just trying to get there as well, And people saw the viability of it. They sold the imagery. They sold this. They sold that, and they said, you know what? Here's the move. Here's the strategy, and this is how we'll unfold it. Because that's part of the mentality that's in place now. It's not only what your song is; it's what you look like, what you're, all the above, all the above. I don't know what the answer is other than paying attention to the game board and knowing that if you've got songs, if you're writing songs, keep writing more songs. If you're doing deals with certain people, then do some other deals and get your stuff going in a couple of other arenas so that your music can be considered all over. And If you're an artist who writes, don't just sit and wait for your chance behind the microphone, because you might have a better chance of being a writer with somebody else. You always had to have several channels running, and that's always been the case. But the thing that's held common is the people who worked and worked and worked usually were able to stay close to a successful circle of activity that guaranteed them access at some level. Guaranteed. Because the more you work, the more proficient you get. And the more you write, and the more you know yourself and you know what your skill level is, you can rule that. And then you can point that anywhere. I don't know about the education thing. Scares me. I'm involved in education, but it scares me every time we try to attack that as a mindset, because you have to study the new student of today.
Listen, guys, I want to jump in for a second, because I'll be honest with you. I think, all respect to everybody, but I think you guys are losing the point, because the bottom line is if we go back and think of what human nature is built on, think about how we were before we started. We do not want to be educated. We like to learn new things, but nobody wants to be educated. See, there's a distinguishing difference. People do not. Here's a marketing lesson that I've been learning when watching marketing. Because the thing is like, it's not about what we want. It's about what they want at the simplest primal level. So the bottom line is Jason nailed it when he was saying, I mean, people have a choice: get something for free or get something for pay. Most people are going to go for the free option just because that's just the natural human thing that's going. Now, here's the difference of knowing how people want to deal. People do not want to be like, well, here's the benefit of paying the artists, because they will give us more stuff and be able. People don't naturally think that way. So to be honest with you, they don't give a damn about us. They could care less whether we get paid. And the bottom line is that we've got to care about how we get paid. We got to be smarter in how we think about things like this. We got to be smart like Steve Jobs was, even though everybody has hates on Apple, learning the marketing lesson that Apple did. Apple learned and injected and took over with a simple marketing message that they've been doing all along. Give the people what they are already looking for. They did not. Everybody thinks that Apple invented the iPod and invented all that other stuff. All that stuff existed. Even the iPhone and all these things were built on pre-existing platforms that they packaged in a way that people were already looking for that solution. So they did not. The way they sell all these things is they did not have to go through this big thing and educate people. Here's why you need this. You'll be able to do all this and everything. They knew that the basic core of what people wanted was they didn't want to have to carry this big. Remember the big folding packs of CDs and stuff we used to have to carry in our car. Even have big folding books full of them, pull stuff out, or you had stuff on your visor in your car and stuff in your home and all these stacks of things. People didn't want to have to do all that. That's what they did. And that was a step down from having, you couldn't carry your record collection back in the day with vinyl and everything. So now, understanding the differences of what people really want is what this whole thing is going to get people to get paid and keep getting paid. Jay-Z and Beyonce and Kanye West and Madonna and all them that had that big thing about Tidal and everything. Well, when you go back and look at some of the stripped away things, post tweets, things like that they were talking about it, the bottom line is that they understand is that it's about making some money. I'm sure the end game plan is there's an exit plan with this. That company pre-existed, but that company was not well known and was not a huge player. They were but they had some of the best technology that was out there. It sounded better, and everybody knew it. This Jay-Z was smart enough to recognize that, okay, here's something that sounds better, but it ain't breaking through, because the bottom line, human experience, people do not care about that. If they did, Betamax would have beat out VHS on video. People do not necessarily care about the quality, although that's important to people like us. The general public, that's not where they go. They just care about the experience. We've got to be smart about having and putting together the experience. And this is what I'm curious to see now, the battle between, you know, the Spotify's and Tidal and versus Apple and all them is going to end up coming down to who understands what do people really want at their core. Do people go around waking up in the middle of the night and saying, I got to have better sounding quality music? Nobody wakes up off of that, you know. No, I mean, us engineers talk about that shit, but nobody wakes up in the middle of the night and that's just bugging the hell out of them. I got to solve that problem. They don't care. If they did care, MP3s would not exist now. The cassette tape back in the day when I was coming up would never have existed if people cared about that stuff, you know. So the difference is what is the big problem is being solved. Tidal is getting part of it, because what they're doing is they're like, okay, let's have a $9.95 model or whatever their intro pricing is, the general, but then the premium pricing model is $19.95, or
Right.
I don't even know what the current thing is now. But what they're trying to understand is they're up leveling. Let's get everybody in at this thing, because basically people just want to get this, and then when they hear it, let them experience it and hear it and experience it in a manner that is painless. You know,
Right.
This is what Apple understood when Apple came out with everybody was learning how to steal music and everything, but Apple said, well, the bottom line is we believe that people will pay for music. You know, that was a whole big, the flags were thrown up, oh, they're stealing the music, and Apple was like, well, people will pay for the music, but y'all motherfuckers is trying to charge $4 for a CD single now because you're getting greedy and not realizing that you're making it hard for them to enter the game. So Apple came up with that model. Let's let them in the door, 99 cents. There's still going to be people out there that steal and everything, but if we make it an easy entry and everything, maybe we'll get them. And they proved out to be right. You know, when I was 129, you know, they stepped it up, and at first there was a dip, but you know, they're smart enough as marketers. I watch all these companies. They were smart enough as marketers, because when they went up to 129, their revenue immediately went down tremendously, and so they went back down to 99, and then they found a marketing way to step people back up to 129. So people didn't even realize. I didn't even realize for a while that now 129 is the standard. We think of 129 like we used to think of 99. 99 don't even exist anymore, I don't think. You know, so it's a smart thing that if we want to get paid and continue getting paid out here in what we do as music, we got to think about what do the people really want and stop getting hung up on them wanting to please us and put money in our pocket, wanting to pay us so we can give them more money. There's always going to be, give them more music. There's always going to be people creating music out there, because music is a thing that's emotional. We have to create music because we love it. I created much more music for free and did sessions for free because I wanted to get in and learn more about my craft and everything well before I got paid a dime. And there's always going to be people with that spirit. There's always going to be people that want to listen to music and everything. We've got to find that middle ground and make it an easy way for them to get in the door, because people do not, trust me, they do not care about, okay, this sounds better, this is higher definition and all that. We engineers care about that stuff. The general populace does not care about it. And everybody that keeps thinking on that way, year after year after year, I keep hearing that conversation come up, and I keep seeing that conversation getting shot down by what the people actually do and what they actually pay for. And what they're actually paying for is ease of access and lesser quality for that ease of access. They don't really care that much about it. The quality that we want it for archival purposes. We got to realize that that's our thing is knowing that the real money for us is learning how on the front end to archive and store this stuff in the highest high definition format that we can. And then when we do that, when a new technology comes along later on or new capabilities, well, we got the highest thing to start with, so we can keep monetizing and remonetizing. That's where the real money is not trying to get in the door and educate a bunch of people on, hey, you need to have, it's going to sound better to y'all. People don't care about it. I'm sorry. I mean, I've just seen too much empirical evidence to see that that's really true. And like I said, our standard formats today, even how long has FLAC been around? FLAC sounds way better, but people still use MP3s and AAC. You know, so I mean that's just my little 2 cents. I went on my rant on that, but I'm just, you know, I'm looking at things from, because I'm a musician, but I'm also a marketer now and studying what the high-level marketers are doing and how do they keep selling us these different things. And they realize that you got to compartmentalize how you think about how you're approaching your stuff. Somebody like a Taylor Swift and somebody like the Justin Biebers and all these people that end up with this massive success out of there, where their success started out on them just having talent and the talent getting that put out there and the word of mouth spreading. Now they've got leverage, like Dave said, and they've got catalog and all that, so they can leverage and say all these things now. But that's not where they started. There's a whole lot of free stuff that was out there before we ever knew who any of these people were. And you ride the wave, you know, you get your stuff passed on. We got to get smarter about those kind of things, guys. If we do, we can last a long, long time, you know, out here. That's my rant, and I'm sticking to it.
For the people who aren't aware of the 129 thing you were talking about, basically the point is that all of the distributors, they take either 30 cents or 30%, depending on which one it is, of your song. So everybody that's selling songs for 99 cents, which is basically $1, they're actually getting 70 cents, and then iTunes is getting or Bandcamp or whoever. So that's just a reaction to that. They're like, we want our whole 99 cents, so we're going to charge you $1.29. So when they take their 30, we still have 99.
Great point. And see how slick that was too, because it's like, well, that's like, okay, we make both sides happy because they invisibly bumped up that price. You know, and most people don't even. People used to complain about it, but people don't complain anymore. You know, iTunes ain't in trouble, y'all. I got news. You know, they ain't in trouble, and they invisibly did that. That's the stuff I want to know. How are these cats doing this stuff? You know, because that's where your long-term money is going to be. You know, but let us be smart enough to know. Let's store our stuff in high-definition formats, things like that. That's a whole different conversation than trying to get the people out there to care about us as content creators and musicians and all that, and what we care about. We've got to realize that we need to care about different things than what they care about, but ultimately provide them with what they want, not what we want, or else the sales are going to suffer, your career is going to suffer, and your longevity will suffer, because, you know, hate to tell you, I've seen it too many times. You know, it's about what's in it for them, not us. You know.
And the thing about the quality is it's pretty much irrelevant. So, you know, the whole idea of, I mean, last I read about Tidal, they have different tiers. Instead of Spotify had the free tier and the $10 a month tier, Tidal had the $10 a month tier and the $20 a month tier, with the point being that $10 a month is the same quality as Spotify for $10 a month, so why would you switch? And $20 a month gets you the higher quality sounds, and it also gets more revenue share with the actual artists, because they're giving out higher quality files. But the point is, nobody cares about higher quality files. They're all listening on earbuds. You know, they're all listening, even if they're listening on, you know, Dre Beats, which, you know, puts the big curve on everything or whatever. They're still listening off of smartphones. You know, there's nobody at this point in time sitting in their house with a big stereo with, you know, $5,000 speakers here and here, you know, that are perfectly, you got the listening chairs, which you can put a little drink in. Nobody's doing that anymore. So nobody cares, you know. So I think they missed an opportunity by not having any extra benefit for independent artists.
That's a key word too. You said an extra benefit, because here's what's going on when you said that. Now I'll let you get back in a second, Bill. But you made a great point about like them coming in with the same tier and the same pricing. Spotify at the $9.95 entry point and everything, and you get the same basic quality. So the people, the thing that and I'm seeing competing information. Some people saying from the artists and everything, they're saying, yeah, we got paid twice as much as we got paid from Spotify. You know, that's what the artists and all the people inside us. You know, yeah, we're getting paid more if we're doing that. But here's the whole thing, is that there's not that many people jumping up to that $19.95 level. So that's the thing, is that the people that are in there and getting it, they're getting more in general, but overall the revenue is way down because it's a harder entry point. And nobody cares about that quality that much.
At all. And what they should have done is they should have said, okay, if you bring your money from your songs from Spotify over to Tidal, then instead of getting 0.0000025 cents per play, you're gonna get 0.0000050 cents per play. Like, give them something which makes them say, I'd rather put it there. Don't just say, hey, wouldn't you rather have your song here than with your artist that you like, than here with people that you don't know and they're just techies and they're the same people that did Napster anyway, so they're just finding a new way to give people basically free music. That's not a, you know, if some, yeah, you're going to get some people going to say, oh, I want to be involved with the people that I'm a fan of. But they didn't give the artist any reason to put their stuff specifically on Tidal and not on Spotify.
Yeah, and then the other thing is even beyond the artists, they're not giving enough for the audience out there, the listener, the general public, to make that big move yet. But I mean, for me, I'm a fan of the idea, because I think if they can make it work, if they think it out, and I don't know what the solution is, but like it's a marketing lesson for everybody. And to me, Apple is one of the best models to look at, because whether you like them or don't like them, they've taken over the world as far as this, because they do all their marketing based on people, not based on the product. You know, people do not care about that product. You know, the Apple Watch, you know, I haven't worn a watch and everything in decades, and I want to watch now just because they went to the marketing and went to, I never have worn watches in my life, but something about them, they're tapping into an emotional thing, and they're masters of it. We need to look at what's going on with this, because music is what we do. It's emotional, and everybody keeps trying to put all these technical arguments and processes in it. This is an emotional business that we work in, and you got to make people become fanatics about that, man. So yeah, Bill,
I'll tell
great.
you what I thought was good that they did. I mean, obviously Apple's done a lot of good stuff, but once they made it so that you can go into a Starbucks, for instance, which they have those everywhere, and you can hear a song playing in Starbucks, and then you can use your phone to figure out what song that is and buy it.
Yeah.
That was great.
Slick.
That was great.
Yeah, very, very slick. And you know what's interesting is that technology has been around, because I used to have some apps back in the day. They were on the desktop computer that could do that. And all you had to do was put up a microphone, but they were smart enough to put it in the smartphone that everybody has with them at all times, carrying it. That was the difference. Thinking outside the box for little things like that, because how many times have you done that? You've heard a song, you've been somewhere, it's like, what song is that? Well, I like that. What is that? And then your mind never went any more than that. We got to get very clever with stuff like this. See, I love stuff like that, because it's like, wow, that's somebody really thinking outside the box, and
There's an app called Shazam. There's an app called Shazam that does that, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't always work, especially if you're in a bar where the sound is bouncing all over creation and all these people talking, blah blah. But if you can get a good signal, basically, you turn on Shazam, hold your phone up to the speaker, and it'll try to tell you what song.
Yeah. So cool, man. This is an interesting discussion, guys, to get on it, and I think we need to look at all the things, so my little thing is not to discount anything that has been said here. We need to look at it, but the bottom line is when we need to also always remind ourselves, how were we when we were young? We did not care. I know when I was younger, and when the Walkman first came out, this is a cassette player for those of you that are too old to know what's up with that. But there's a cassette player on a little cassette tape. Before that, all they had was those big giant. Either you had big giant reel-to-reels, and then they invented the 8-track cartridges. You couldn't carry none of that stuff around. So Sony came out with the Sony Walkman, where you had a little portable thing. You could pop in a little cassette tape and carry it with you and listen to your music everywhere. And right away, me coming up at that time too, all the older engineers, because that was right when I was in the studio and this stuff was happening, everybody started talking about how crappy the quality was, and this will never fly and everything, and it sounds too bad. Listen to it, and all I kept thinking is, and I'm brand new to the thing green, but I try to make myself remember now. Guys, I didn't care. I could carry my jam with me, and I could still listen to it. So You know, I put on some headphones and walk around with my Walkman. I was good.
That's right. It's all about delivery of the emotion, actually.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we got to keep remembering that. You know.
Speaking of independence, have we heard about Jason Constantine's new project?
Jason, you still there? Let's tell us who's
Jason.
Project. I don't know if it's a new project. I mean, but it's,
Okay, well, let me not describe your thing to you. Just describe it for us then, sir.
Basically, you know, everybody's known me for the last, 20 so years as the guy who plays in metal bands, and I grew up listening to jazz and Latin jazz and R&B and everything, and I needed a little bit of a change, man. I got tired of all day long. I got so sick of it, I needed to put some melody back in my music.
Yeah.
So
you can play, my brother. You can play. I've heard you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So I'm just putting, basically it's just an instrumental project, guitar obviously being the featured thing, and I'm just writing songs that are kind of just, I don't want to say a different style for me because I've always kind of written stuff like this, but different than what people have heard from me before. It's definitely got a little bit more of a worldly Latin jazzy kind of thing. I really don't want to say jazz though, because it's not like Schofield and Metheny and stuff like that, but it's, I don't know, it's I guess more fusion. It's kind of like a rock fusion kind of thing, and it just I got sick and tired of just constantly palm mutant low E's all day long. I got sick of it. I needed more melody in my life. It's coming together. It's coming together slowly. Released my first single back on April 16th for the record, and hopefully it'll be done by the end of the summer. I'm still putting stuff together. I played all the instruments on it, did all the programming on the drums, played the keys. I used some loops and samples and stuff that I had. Bought a bunch of loop packs and all that cool stuff. And, I just needed other influence, and going out and picking up some loop packs and I bought Elastic Audio and all this other cool stuff because Elastic's got a whole bunch of cool stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
It's my new favorite thing right now is just going through everything in Elastic and like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna change this like this and this like that. I'm just really just trying to change up the way I'm so used to doing things for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Four guys sitting in a room and everybody arguing about chord changes and blah blah blah. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Sitting in a room with 4 or 5 other guys and writing music is one of my favorite things to do in the world. Beautiful. Just it blossoms, and when it's natural and it just comes together, it's awesome. But
let me ask you a question, Jason. Have you ever done this? It was amazing. I did this one time way back in the day when I used to play, but I was so surprised at how creative things got. One day, usually when we're playing guitar, our E string, B string breaks or something like that. But one day, it was either my D string or G string broke. And I just said, I'm going to leave it and just play everything with what's left. The two middle strings, if one or both of them broke or whatever, I disable and try to create like that. Have you ever done anything like that? It really makes you think in a whole completely different way on putting stuff together.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do actually is just randomly tune the guitar to notes that I'm not sure what it is, and then just try and work through it and figure stuff out. I have this really like weird open D tuning that it's open D, but it's got like this other stuff in it that gives it these cool chord tensions to give it like this D6 kind of sound. Yeah. And I like playing in that tuning a lot. But yeah, I do stuff like that all the time, just experimenting. I've actually been writing a lot on bass.
Tell me how you randomly tune a guitar. Tell me what that means.
It's simple. I don't even know what my acoustic is right now. Brandon, you know what my acoustic is?
Here we go.
Yeah, I just start pick a note on the low E string, just tune it to something, and then tune the other strings so when you play it open, it sounds like something really cool. That's what I do. I without a tuner, everything, just random. And then I'll figure it out later on what everything was. But I've just been writing a lot on other things.
You're only detuning one string. That's what you're saying?
No.
No.
So you take take your low E string and turn the tuner and tune it up to just a random note, whatever note it is.
Right, and then what?
And then the rest of the strings from there, tune it to a chord. So that low E is now your root note of that chord, and now you tune the rest of the guitar so that it sounds like when you play it open.
So it's standard tuning, but it just starts somewhere different.
Yeah, you start in
Gotcha. Okay. I was gonna say, how are you supposed to play?
It's not really standard tuning. It's an open tuning, but yeah, now you understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Try and do something different.
Yeah, and what I like about like taking out the two middle strings is it makes you start actually creating like Bach type stuff, because you pretty much have to create in intervallic stuff as opposed to the normal bar or block chords and everything. You have to do stuff on your two low strings, so whatever intervals you deal with your two low strings, move between those, and then you have to jump up to the two high strings and do intervallic stuff up there as well. So it makes you think in a whole different way and kind of split up your playing. You hit something low, then go up and high, and it's intervallic, and you got to suggest chords or suggest alterations to the chords based on what low note you started with, and then you jump up and you're hinting at things, sticking around the seventh and the third and stuff like that. It's very, very, very challenging because it makes you really think about, your music in what you want to hear and where you want it to go, as opposed to what your fingers kind of naturally fall into, And because there's no middle strings, you can't do your normal comfort zone stuff. It's very challenging.
It's one of the lessons I give my guitar students is as I tell them to write a song not using power chords or cowboy chords.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. No dyads, no root fifth chords, none of the cowboy chords, the standard stuff everybody knows in the open positions, none of that.
Yeah. That's what I like about when you take off the strings completely. When you move the strings completely, because I used to try that and try to think it and say I'm not going to play my middle strings, but I'd always kind of still go because I could feel them. But when you can't feel no strings in the middle, that messes you up. And it's like you got to really come up with a whole new thing. The strings aren't even there to land on. No bar chords, none of the standard stuff that your fingers will go to. It's like, oh shit, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I just think as a musician, I mean, even as a producer, you need to go to things that aren't in your box.
Yeah.
In order to stretch your mind and imagination and give you other ideas of things you can do. Like me, I started in hip hop, and I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, I've always been a rock guy ever since I was a kid. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. I was into Slayer and Metallica and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
My breakout into the music business as a producer, engineer, and mixer was working on hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Alien to me. So what I did is I was like, all right, I got to study. I went back to bought all the old late '70s like Geek records and all that stuff, listening to everything that was going on and all the bands, all the hip hop artists all the way up.
Mm-hmm. Are you still there? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I muted the wrong Jason. Sorry about that. Unmute yourself, Jason. I thought I was seeing your.
That's all right. I was just saying, you really, it just, as a musician and as a producer, even a mixing engineer, it's always a good idea to take stuff outside of your comfort zone and push your own boundaries. See what you can do with it. Turn a country song into a hip hop song, or turn a hip hop song into a metal song. Do something different. Just think outside the box. Everybody's so safe, especially in the rock scene nowadays. The rock scene nowadays is just, every record you listen to, it's slate drums. Every metal record you listen to, it's Metal Foundry. Every guitar player is playing. Every guitar player is playing through a 5150 with a SM57 on the cabinet. Stretch out, man. I get it. Those are tried and true things. They work. A Marshall and a Les Paul. It just works, all the time. But you know what? Maybe plug that Les Paul into a pig nose and see what you get.
Yeah, right?
Billy Gibbons did it, and he got some great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, man, have you ever, I think we talked about this, but have you ever had the chance to personally use the Kemper?
Yes, I have. And even more so as of late because a buddy of mine just bought one. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm
It's
thinking
absolutely
about.
amazing. It feels like a tube amp. It doesn't just sound like it, like the Axe Effects. The main difference, Axe Effects, everything's already built in. The Kemper's got some stuff built in, but you can add stuff to it, which is what's really cool.
Yeah.
The Kemper's an amazing piece of machinery, man. It feels like a tube amp. It blows my mind. Everything. The dynamic response from playing light to playing heavy, not just the tone changes, but the feel of the amp changes. It feels like a tube amp. A tube amp like lives and breathes as you play.
Yeah,
You back off the volume and things get a little tight. You turn it up and it gets all saggy and big. Kemper does the exact same thing, dude. It blows my mind.
Wow, yeah.
Within the next 6 months, I will own one. I guarantee it.
Have you heard anything you like in software? Or is that pretty much the only thing you've liked as opposed to analog?
Pod Farm I really like for clean stuff. You got to realize I'm a high gain guy. So mainly a high gain guy. So, but for cleans, I really like Pod Farm, man. I've been using Pod Farm and Pod Farm 2 Platinum since they came out. I haven't recorded a clean guitar amp on a record, I don't think, in 10 years. It's been all Pod Farm. We tried them when I did my last band's record, which isn't going to see the light of day, unfortunately, because everything fell apart. But I brought in, this nice blonde twin with a U87 and the whole deal, stereo room mics, and we mic'd it up, and it sounded beautiful. And as soon as I got it into the mix, I was like, yeah, it just doesn't work. I put on the blonde deluxe in Pod Farm, and I had my clean. Right there. All that trouble for nothing.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful. Yep. That's good. That's good. Cool. I want to move on a little bit, and then we're going to wrap it up because I want to get out of here by.
We also have a new chatter. Virgil's here, Khaliq.
Oh yeah, there you go. What's up, man? I got you on. You probably have to unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Got you. What's going on, bro?
Chilling, guys. How's it going?
Where you at?
Right now, I'm in Green Bay, but soon to be transported down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay, all right. What's going on with you, man? Tell us a little bit about what's up with you.
I do audio training for youth and young adults. And so right now I'm doing a stint with the Boys and Girls Club. I spent the year here in Green Bay getting their studios and stuff together. And now they're transporting me down to Milwaukee to kind of do the same for that area.
Oh, okay. That's cool. They like what you do.
Yeah. I can't complain.
Oh, man. And so tell us all that you do besides, your training and everything. Are you a musician, producer, engineer, all of the above, whatever?
Producer, engineer. Primarily, I've just soloed myself in that area of working with youth and young adults in production, digital music. And so it's really introducing them to the platform, introducing them to the different DAWs, introducing them to the basic theory that comes along with digital music. I've been doing it the past 10 years. Graduated from University of Illinois down in Champaign, Illinois, and came up to Wisconsin to Madison Media in Madison, Wisconsin. Been doing some local production, local engineering, nothing really like high level, but I really have a real big interest in youth, young adults, their direction, and what they're doing in their community. So.
No, very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, man. Well, welcome to the group. You see, we all kind of batted around from a lot of different perspectives and everything. So, if you want to chime in on anything we've been talking about today, or
I've enjoyed that title conversation because. It's real interesting working with kids because they be up on all of this stuff, man, and they blow by it so fast where, we get really entwined with the meat and potatoes and stuff behind how it works, and they just go, they got accounts on everything, SoundCloud, Tidal, Spot, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, try everything.
All they want is they just want what they want, and they want it right now. So it was very interesting to hear the conversation surrounding about what quality is, and the experience versus the actual sound and things of that sort. So I'm just here taking it all in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what is your opinion on that? As far as do you think they care about it? I mean, I
No,
know, of course, I know to some degree if it was terrible, but the bottom line, it's not going to be terrible. So do they really care about it? Is that
through my experience, absolutely not. The quality of things have, and I am really hurt by that because my
wrong?
trainers,
By
they
that.
didn't let you get away with not having a quality finished product. If you thought you was finished, you better go back and listen to it again just to make sure, that type of thing. Making sure that you put your all into it. But now, quality for a lot of the younger individuals that are not, into that level of wanting to really learn about music and production and engineering and adapt some of those principles that goes along with getting a solid foundation. They don't care about the quality.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, there, like I was mentioning too, there's really two different things. There's source quality and delivery quality. We've got to remember that those two, they're not one and the same. So for our side, we should always work on and be cognizant of having the highest source quality at all times, and take that through to high definition for archival. But the end user does not care about the final thing because that's going to change, And the bottom line is they just want the experience. They don't care about the quality as long as they've got an experience that's good.
Yep. Totally.
We got to remember the delivery is not our domain. Stay in our lane.
Right. Good stuff.
Virgil, yeah, I'm gonna need to talk to you about that stuff because I'm interested in that stuff as well. But you've actually been doing it, so I'm gonna have to lean on some of your resources over there. But I had the same situation. I've been saying for the long. Nobody cares at all. I had a situation where my friend's son is like, oh, he wants to be a rapper, yada yada. I'm like, okay, this is all you gotta do. All you gotta do is listen to a song in some headphones. Say your rap. That's all you gotta do. That's the only instruction I give you. You listen to the song in some headphones, say your rap. I can do everything else. So I get the file and I play it down. What he did was he found a song that he wanted to, or an instrumental he wanted to use on YouTube. Pulled it up on his mono smartphone. Had it playing and was rapping to it into I don't know what. So I'm hearing him and I'm hearing this mono. It's over. I can't do anything with that. And he's like, oh, it's fire, son. It's fire. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Put it out, man. Put it out.
Yeah, put it out. Yo, what can you do with this? I'm like, nothing. What do you... so I'm going to need to talk to you about that because I need to figure this out.
That's a big thing what you just said there, Bill. That's where I'm fighting my own demons in the educational world because like Dave was talking about, the new student they're difficult to deal with, and it's just, especially in my lane, the students want all the answers, but they don't want to do the research and the little things to give you a foundation to have a good product. We'll have Leslie in on a Friday afternoon when I teach a class, and he'll come drop in. Half of them don't even ask Leslie any questions, where the 9 or 10 of us would be inundating him with questions. But they're just like, oh, you mixed so and so. Oh, that's nice. What?
Yeah.
See, the thing is most people don't know what they don't know. So here's what I find, because a lot of what I do is bringing people along, training them online. I have private clients that I'll do some stuff with. And what I find that when I first started doing it, I used to get a lot of blowback because I always wanted to give them what I knew they needed. Here's the stuff that you need to know. This is going to be great for you and everything. And I started getting pushback on some things because I found out that most people, while they say they want to know it, when it's time to dig in and really put in the work to get that stuff, they don't want to do it. So they really want to kind of get a result fast. So like you guys were saying, and now here's the experience. You know, the guy holds up his iPhone, let the track playing, and just singing into whatever and recording that, and then wants it put out. Well, you let them get that out of their heart. Let them get that out of the spirits, and don't throw any water on it. Let them feel good about what they're doing. Say, okay, that's cool. But then the next stage after that, once they've got that out and everything, that's when I always take over and say, okay, let me show you something real quick, because here's how we can step it up to the next level. This is cool, and if you want to stop there, I'm good with that, because that tells me a lot about them too. If they don't want to,
prepared. Enter to Bluetooth.
Okay. Oh yeah, right. So if they don't, if they don't want to step up, that tells me, okay, you ain't ready yet. You're okay with mediocrity. But somebody that's really trying to be a real player out here, they don't know what they don't know, so they might be willing to stop. But if you let them know, say, check this out now. Let's talk about stepping this up to the next level. I think you got something here, and this is cool. The idea is out. Check out this, and then you show them what separation is. Okay, if I do this now, I've got more control. You got more control. We can do this, that, and the other. That's one step. Here's the next step beyond that. Let's get this whole track broke out, because right now we got a mono track on an iPhone. It's going to sound 1,000 times better. Let's find a way to build that out. You got to do it in steps, incremental steps. Bottom line is we know that. They don't know that.
Yeah, that's very true. But let's say, for instance, I had a client. Well, it's not a client, but somebody who wanted to hire me to help them mix. Well, they wanted to hire me to mix their record. But part of the conversation was, hey, I want to hire you for 4 hours. I want you to come down to my studio, and I want you to mix the record, and I want you to teach me how to do exactly what you're doing.
Right.
Well, it's really not going to work like that. I mean, we're going to have 4 hours. I can show you what when I broke it down, all he's really interested in, and I find this with a lot of artists in this area, they're interested in what plugin you use, what settings do you use for hip-hop vocals, what settings do you use for kick drums, rather than saying, when I say, hold up, it's not the plugin that I'm using, it's why I'm using XYZ to accomplish this. No, I just want to know what plugin you're using, because I got all of them.
No, but you answered your own question there. That's exactly what it is. See, they think they want to know that, but they don't really want to know that stuff. See, here's what I do now. I think, and I told you guys, when people hire me, I've got several different levels of doing it. I can just kind of give them something and say, okay, this will get you what you want. You're on your own. Do your thing. Other people want me to do it with them so that they can, let me see what you're doing so I can copy what you do. Well, they don't know what I'm doing is based on my 30-plus years of experience. So I'm hearing stuff in my head that you'll never get. My experience is a whole nother thing. So you can copy my settings and do exactly what I do, and you're not going to get the same results. But we can do it like that because you might learn something from just going through that process. They don't really want the settings, though. Really what they want is, the bottom line is they want what they want something that they feel, okay, that sounds good. I like that. And what that's usually based on is what they already did. What I always approach things as now is let me hear, I always got to hear, give me a rough mix of what you like, what or your final mix, and let's see if we can up level it from there. But give me what you think is done or is close to done or what you're feeling and you like. And then I see what I can do to step it up to that next level. I've gotten so much less headache from taking that approach because they already like what they already got. They don't know what's missing out of there, so they're cool with it, whether you touch it or not. They already think it's banging. So what I do is, okay, let me show you how to kick this up to the next level. And then I may only have to do a couple of things, even though I know 1,000 other things may need to be doing where it can go way beyond. But they just want that overall thing where it's a little bit better than what they gave you. And then when you can demonstrate that, then people a lot of times will relax and say, okay, well, man, he showed me that, but he's telling me that, okay, now I did this and we kicked it up from where you had it here and it sounds better. But if we do this other thing and you allow me to do this, or we get in and everything, we can get more control on it, it'll be even 1,000 times better than what I just did. I just did that in the 4 hours you allotted me. We just kicked it up, But make it easy on yourself. I used to make it so hard on myself by trying to take everything all down and say, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that, and we're going to get here because I've got the final vision. But they don't know. They can't hear the final vision. They don't have the experience to know where it's supposed to go. And so I made it easier for myself. It's like, let's start from where you are, what you already like, and then what I'll do is, let me tell you, here's what I'm hearing and thinking. Okay, you like what's going on there? Okay, here's why I'm doing this, such and such. Okay, we're good. Let's play yours. Okay, now let's play what we did. Okay, and they hear, okay, yeah, big difference, and I'm really happy. Well, I already know that, okay, we can go 1,000 times beyond that, but going through that process with them also lets me know what their mentality is, because if they're okay with it and saying, okay, good enough is good enough, I'm saying, okay, I'm talking to a stop short person. They're okay with stopping short, And so I'm okay with that. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I'm going to let you know that we can go way beyond this, but if you want to stop short here and that's okay and you don't want to push further, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to make my job and my life harder because you just don't know or see the vision, You get what I'm saying, Jason? That'll make life so much easier for you because most people are going to be stop short people. But you want those couple gym people that want to go to that next level, but keep your blood pressure down, brother.
Yeah, the other thing about that is not only are they stop short people, but you have to consider what they're listening to normally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the same people that are rapping off of mono versions of MP3 songs that are coming off of their smartphone through the air, through a microphone, with them rapping at the same time, those same people listen to music in that environment.
Yeah.
They listen to music on that smartphone in mono, or whatever the situation is. They have some radio that doesn't sound good or whatever. So what happens is, as you're saying, you have the vision. Yeah, we have the vision, but our vision doesn't produce what they hear because what they hear is messed up.
Yeah.
So what they really want is for you to mess it up the way that they're used to hearing it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you listen to
or leave it where it was.
Well, but no. What I'm saying is, you could. Let's say they're doing the rap, but you're doing the music. There is no where it was. You're putting it where it's supposed to be, and they're like, oh, it's not gritty enough. Oh, I can't. Because they're used to listening to blown out speakers. They're used to listening to non-quality music, but that lack of quality has become a part of what they think is good about the song.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. And here's an interesting thing too, because part of that is sometimes for what they want, you got to be okay with it being messed up, because.
Well, yeah, that's the bottom line. The client is you're trying to get them something where they sign off on it and it goes out.
Yeah, because this is an emotional business. This is what I'm saying, that us getting in, me being an engineer and everything, I always want to get the best quality and push people for that. But what I've learned through experience of the years now is that not everybody wants or needs that because it's going to make a bigger problem. Some people just don't want to go to that next level because, like you said, Bill, they've been listening to some messed up stuff. It starts sounding good, sounds foreign. Sounding correct sounds foreign. It was funny because I was on the panel with DJ Khalil last week down at the SAE Institute, and he gave that exact thing that he went through with Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre did a mix on something, and DJ Khalil was like, man, I ain't feeling this. I don't think so. Dre, is like, well, okay, well, do your thing and let me hear what you hear and see if you can beat it. And so he said, he admitted to it. He said he did his thing and did all this thing, created to what his vision was, beefed it up and everything, and then what he found out was when he compared it to what Dre did, it didn't translate everywhere. It's all big and bumping and all massive and everywhere and breaking up and distorting and going through all this, and he said, see, that's why I did that. I rolled off that low end because I know cumulatively when we go in these clubs and everything else where this is going to be the environment, this is not going to work if you start doing all that stuff you did. And he said he learned a valuable lesson from that, but he was used to doing it a whole nother way because he was thinking, let me mix it like the club instead of mixing it for mastering.
Yeah, I just had a similar conversation with Dave Hadeen, where he was talking about that he's not a mastering engineer, but he's getting a lot of mastering work now. And he was surprised by that. And I said, well, you shouldn't be surprised, because in all the times you've been doing this, you've been developing critical listening. So that what's happening is people are liking what your final output is, and they're coming to you to say, I made this song, but I want you to basically sign off on the final output. See? And that's what he might say, oh, well, I'm not an actual mastering engineer, but what he knows is through all the stuff that he's done and through all the songs that he's sold to people or whatever he's gotten, whatever he's accomplished, he's done more than the people who are giving him their songs. Yeah. And it's the same thing with what you just said. It's like, okay, yeah, I know in here this doesn't sound like that and it doesn't sound like that, but I already know this room, and I've taken songs from this room to the club and played them there. Yeah. And I know that the time that I did all of this, it didn't translate. So I'm going to do less of it so that it's the best for all situations. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, all that's an experience thing too. So you know, there's so many things like Jason was saying. When you get with somebody and they give you 4 hours and they think, if I watch over their shoulders, I got his stuff. You know, I'm so not afraid of that anymore for any reason, because people don't get it. You can never steal somebody's stuff or their style, because most of it's going on up here and in here. You know, so, you know, okay, you can think you can watch over my thing. In fact, you don't even have to copy my settings. I'll give them to you. I'll give you the exact plugins with the settings on it. Try and do it. It ain't going to fit together the same, you know. It can't. Nope. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One thing I've learned from you guys, it's not, you know, it's not the actual, it feels good if someone gives you, let's say, a fish, and if you eat it without doing the work of catching the fish, but it sure is useful to learn how to fish so that you can get your own fish and not rely on someone else. And that's what I've been listening to you guys, and and paying attention to the basic principles of I can't describe everything you've taught me, but paying attention to what's in the base of how you think and how you act. I feel that this is what you're trying to teach your people, but they don't see in your intention.
Yeah, this is very true. I mean, this is a mind thing as much as it is an ear thing, so we get it. I mean, I got to say, Virgil, your daughter, she is so cute.
Yeah, let's hear from baby engineer over there.
She ain't gonna say too much.
She just chilling. That's a studio baby, just chilling.
Yeah, it's one of two that I keep around in the studio. The 3-year-old is at Walmart right now, so just me and her chilling right now.
What's her name?
Ava Simone.
Ava Simone. Okay, beautiful, man, beautiful. Yeah. How old is she?
3 months.
3 months. I was gonna say, yeah, she's brand new.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Okay, that explains why she's not gonna be saying anything.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, she ain't got much to say right now.
Yeah, she's saying a lot with them eyes, though, bro. She's with us. Yeah. Like, I like it. I believe I can hang with you folks.
You best believe she's sitting there soaking it all in.
Yeah. Cool, very cool. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here unless anybody got any parting words. It's a great hangout again as usual. I love hanging out with y'all. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up, folks. Wonderful day. Everybody have a wonderful holiday weekend. If you're here in the U.S., about to do something. I'm gonna cook me up some steaks tomorrow and do it all good. Get me some ribeyes on the grill. All right, folks. So y'all have a wonderful time and catch y'all next week.
Good stuff. All right, guys.
All right, thanks.